I do not.
Hugo Bruce, is he leaving Bafana? The journalist that wrote the story is Fleurs. That's his name. So then we reached out to Fleurs.
This information did not originate from our media outlet, but from Mosaic FM, which is the leading radio station in Tunisia.
So the story comes from basically listening to Andy Bako Tunisia.
I know that journalist. The journalism is behind a septic tank.
Nompumelelo Mbuzi Nyandeni. I still can't believe who to yegi Letias Galaxy and Yegi Sway Transport. Mbuzi. And I'm finding Kulmen Metro Banga move because Mabanga movie transport is on shy. Kaz Naidu, international cricket commentator. Kaz, who is Kwena Mapaka?
17 years old. Potentially, he could be in the T20 World Cup squad going to the United States. Come 2027, Kwena Mapaka with the new ball running in on South Africa's opening game at a World Cup hosted in South Africa.
Gee whiz, what do you even compensate with your peers about?
Well, I mean, you definitely still have a milkshake, right? Like after the game, you're like, oh, let's have a milkshake.
Is he going to order the milkshake or is he going to have the beer? What's going to happen?
I mean, listen, he's definitely ordering the milkshake and he's handing out numbers.
Sky is the limit, you know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Celebrated his birthday on the 3rd of March. Born in 2000. In 2000. 2000. Just now, the 3rd of March, you're celebrating his birthday. It saddened me today when I go to the app that we go to update our knowledge and things on players. And I looked at Luc Fleurs, and I looked at the date of birth. But that's not what saddened me. What saddened me is that on the app where the world looks, every pundit you can think of, we all go there to update stats and to refresh on what we know about footballers. Luc Fleurs' picture was in black and white, because that's what they do once somebody's late. And they've now included a date of death at only 24 years old. 24. I don't even remember what I was doing at 24. But I know that I had dreams. I know that my mother and my father looked at me and saw a future in me. This is not a rant or a cry or frustration from a football anchor or somebody involved in football. This is a cry, my beloved country. This is a cry for somebody that's never watched a single football game in their life because a 24-year-old lies cold. Not a 24-year-old who was robbing people, committing crimes and terrorizing the neighborhood. No, a 24-year-old who was trying to change his family's life is no more. He lies cold right now. That's a society to which we are now a part of. Where we get on the air on a Throwback Thursday not wanting to, because crime in this country has taken over and it's taken lives of your family, my family, and by large, and by extension, touching all of us. May your soul rest in peace. Look, Fleurs.
Just one bite, and you know you're right. Mama, it's a winner on bread, the best on curry you make. In Nandi, the hamburg pumpkin, irami salad rice, like gold on the slice. Ian Zago banana, the hamburg pumpkin, Rama.
Y'all ready? The Metro FM Music Awards 2024. Flight to the Future.
The nominees for Best Gospel Album: Dogo Zombambo, Lavish Worship; Jumbo Siabonga; Share, Take Heart;
To vote, dial star 120 star 45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2024.
Are you ready for an amazing night?
Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. T's and C's apply. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It's exactly 13 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. It is Sports Night Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ngube. Had a beautiful show planned today. One that I was very excited for because, you know, I get to speak to a childhood hero. You know, we do a Throwback Thursday. You know how Throwback Thursdays go. We tell stories of sport, you know, things that you can get involved in growing up. And I think at the time, I think I'm saying Lamontville. Growing up with my family there. It is a bo as in Klop. And the first cricketer I ever heard of, the first cricketer I ever knew was Jonty Rhodes. Jonty Rhodes was that one guy that even the black kids knew. Cricket wasn't our thing. It wasn't offered at our schools. We didn't have the equipment for it. We didn't know how you count, how it works. We didn't know what a wicket from a ball was. But for some reason, we knew Jonty Rhodes because of the athleticism of Jonty Rhodes. It just, for some reason, synergized with us. So that's the conversation we're meant to have. And I'm going to have that conversation with Jonty Rhodes, and we're going to have a chat. I'm going to snap out of it, and I'm going to be jolly, and I'm going to enjoy. I'm not going to let you, scoundrel of the earth, who decided to take a life of a young 24-year-old, take this away from all of us who listen to this too. But at the end of it, when we're done with that conversation, I'm going to play you a clip from the South African Police Service. And, you know, they said, Andile, we can't come on, but we can give you all the details we can because we know that so many fans are wondering and wanting to know. But also we've got a couple of coaches that have had something to say. So at the end of that conversation with Jonty Rhodes, we'll then do that. So I need a break between this rant of mine to try and find a smile so that I can speak to one of South Africa's most loved sportsmen. A man who wasn't just about the game, but his philanthropy, but also just his care for all South Africans. His care for all South Africans. A man who knew the South Africa that he grew up in and was a part of. He didn't look aside and say, no, this is this. No, he knew exactly what he was a part of. Today, let's celebrate Jonty Rhodes. Let's take a break. When we come back, I promise you, I'll find that smile.
We don't play games. We wrote the game.
Up in here, it's burning.
Metro FM. It's where you want to be. Y'all ready? The Metro FM Music Awards 2024. Flight to the Future.
The nominees for Best Duo or Group. Dim Tuda and The Musical Chef. Inkabi Zezwe. Mellow and Sleazy. Tito M and Yuppie. The Legacy.
To vote, dial star 120 star 45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2024.
Are you ready for an amazing night?
Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. T's and C's apply. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
He goes by the name the Postman Aubrey Mudiba. I mean, I look at that Sundowns team and I just wonder, are there conversations about invincibility?
Obviously, that's what you want to achieve. I'm not going to lie.
How do you communicate with the South Americans?
I'm learning a bit of Spanish now. Small words of Spanish.
Like what?
Lo siento. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Dinero. It's money. It's
Oh my God, no boy.
6 to 7 p.m.
It is a Sports Night Amplified with Andile, the biggest platform for all things sport in South Africa on the mighty Metro FM. Thank you so much for choosing us today. I get to tick a box, and I'm pretty sure I tick it along many of you that listen as well. Like I said a little bit earlier, the first cricketer I ever knew, the first person, the first name. I might have seen cricketers before. I might have maybe even seen a game or two, not in full, because growing up, we didn't know what this game was, and it took the whole day to play, which was frustrating for people that didn't have access to television the whole day. But the first cricketer I ever knew was Jonty Rhodes. And there was a thing about us as black kids growing up in KZN at the time that liked Jonty Rhodes. It was the way he threw himself around everywhere, the catches that he was making. There was an athleticism about him that just was so resounding to us. Loved him to bits. Today, I'm fortunate enough to speak to one of my heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jonty Rhodes onto the show. Born in Pietermaritzburg, it must be what now, 54 years ago, Jonty, in 1969. He played for the Proteas and represented this country all too well. Jonty, I can't be more excited to be speaking to you. Welcome to the show.
Andile, thank you. You've actually really made my year and my day. What an introduction. I have never been introduced like that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it comes from the heart, Jonty, and that's what today is. Today is our way of saying thank you, because, you know, you've made memories for me, friends, family, that we're going to speak about for the rest of our lives. You know, you're going to be a connection point when we have conversations. And you didn't know, you were just playing cricket because you loved it. But what you were doing is you were helping us bond and giving us something to talk about. Welcome to the show.
I'm actually at a loss for words. Andile, thank you. I would just say thank you. Very kind.
You're out in India at the moment.
Well, yeah, I am 3.5 hours ahead. It's getting late in the evening having selfies. We went out to myself and Justin Langer. We went out to this incredible cafe today that helps young ladies who have been victims of acid attacks. I mean, I know gender-based violence in South Africa is a massive thing, and in India they have their own issues too. And then from there we went to have a practice session with the captain of the Indian wheelchair cricket team. So, man, it's been a busy day, but really fulfilling, and maybe that's why I am a bit emotional now this evening. It's been so good.
Jonty, so I absolutely love that you still do that. Philanthropy, as I was refreshing on who Jonty is, I see something that you do quite often, and I'm glad that you're still involved in people's lives in that way. It's a way that I guess you get to give back for all the love you felt over the years.
100%, and I think that is the amazing thing about cricket is that, you are connected in so many ways to so many amazing people, and sometimes the amazing touch you kind of go there thinking you can help and add value, but you leave the situation being really, really touched by the people that you come in contact with. So, I've always, and yeah, listen, growing up in apartheid era South Africa, and I know that the more I learn about other people, the more I will myself. So I'm grateful for every opportunity to discover people in places that that probably wouldn't be open to the ordinary guy or girl. So I'm just grateful for what cricket has brought me, and being giving me this opportunity now to just keep developing as a human being. Because let's face it, that's a journey that never comes to an end. Well,
no, it never. Yeah, I was going to say at some point, Jonty, even you aren't invincible.
I am like Peter Pan, or I don't know.
Jonty, listen. So I've always said, careers like yours and lives in sport like yours, if one is to try and have an interview that is not geared to one particular thing, it'll never end. So I picked one moment that I want us to talk about, that I want us to relive almost. And I think we're going to have to go back to 1992 on the 8th of March. Does that date ring a bell? 8th of March, 1992.
Not really, but 1992 was a big year for Jonty Rhodes. And I think from a South African cricket point of view, obviously it launched us back into the world arena, and it certainly launched my career. So I'm assuming that's World Cup in Australia, and me against South Africa versus Pakistan.
It's exactly that. I looked it up, and it still ranks as one of the greatest, as far as athleticism is concerned, greatest moments in sporting history across all sports.
Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, that is ridiculous.
That's a word to describe it. It was ridiculous.
Young white kid throwing himself at the wicket. I mean, it was like everyone just went, "Hey, man, what is this guy doing?" So it was definitely a case of one of those opportunities where I backed my strength, which was my speed and not my accuracy. And I'm still just blown away. In that 1992 Cricket World Cup, the referendum was on in South Africa, and people talk about highlights of your cricketing career, and that for me was massive. I mean, it was the first step towards the transition and the change towards democracy. So that World Cup was less about results and moments. I mean, even though it was a spectacular photograph, my brothers and I did this in the back garden, at school, and that was an amazing thing for me. I couldn't understand the fuss that was being made of something that I'd done from age 5 or 6. So just throwing myself around the field somewhere, doing something crazy.
It made me really feel old, because I realized it's 32 years ago now.
A long time, brother. A very long time.
But Jonty, for those, because if it's 32 years ago, we've got listeners here that are in their 20s, in their 30s even, who are either babies or not even born yet. So I'm going to please ask you to describe that moment from the time the ball is bowled, who bowls it, how does it go? I know a lot of people are going to go Google it. You're going to see there's going to be a spike in the YouTube views for that moment. But if you were to describe it from where you were standing a minute before the ball, perhaps up until that run out, talk to me about it. Just describe it to me. I want to see it through your eyes.
So let me just paint the overall picture. It was a game in Brisbane in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer there's generally a storm clouds that build up, and there was a massive downpour. So the outfield was wet, and for the bowlers it was really tough to control the ball. The ball was quite wet to grip. South Africa had put on a decent total batting first, but to me, is it ringing?
We can hear you now, Jonty. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, it's good. So, Andila, I mean, it was a situation where Pakistan was scoring a lot of runs very quickly. Imran Khan, the captain of Pakistan, was batting with a young Inzamam ul Haq, who was a 19-year-old, sort of up-and-coming young star of Pakistan cricket. And South Africa were desperate for a breakthrough of a wicket, because they didn't have many batters that came next. Imran Khan was a sort of bowling all-rounder, and we knew if we got one wicket, we could go through them. And when Brian McMillan was bowling, and he hit Inzamam ul Haq on the pad, Inzamam tried to sort of slog sweep him towards square leg, and the ball bounced out to my area at backward point. And generally, I'm very close, because I was a soccer player, but I was a striker, one of the glory boys, of course. Although, let's face it, I mean, goalkeepers these days in South Africa are definitely the ones who are earning all the accolades. But, as a goalkeeper in my era of football, the keeper could come off the line almost at the penalty, cut down the angle. So, generally, my game plan was to come in as close as possible. But because I was trying to save the boundaries and not the singles, I was standing on the inner circle. So when the ball hit the pad, I could see that Imran Khan at the non-striker's end had his hand up, and I think in the picture he still has his hand up, saying he's not coming to his batting partner. But Inzamam ul Haq was 19, a lumbering young man at that stage, and I backed my speed to get to the wicket, because he then, Inzamam took off down the wicket, and he turned around and came back to his crease. But I backed my speed to get there before him, and not my accuracy, because we didn't do much. I love my fielding, but we didn't do much fielding practice. We had one coach. Mike Proctor was the only coach. Now I'm one of 6 coaches at the IPL.
Jeez.
You've got a coach for everything. You've got a coach for the coaches almost. I've even got the Zulu Lance Kruzner here with me in India.
I saw.
Yeah, no, we're a house full of South Africans and Australians and Indian coaches. But anyway, so Inzamam came back towards the crease, and I realized that, hey, this guy's getting back sooner than I had anticipated, so I'm going to look really silly, and he's going to make it home. And I haven't thrown the ball, so I just threw myself instead of the ball, thinking the fastest way to cover the last 2 meters was diving for the ball. So, it was an Australian journalist. He took a picture, and everybody was just quite shocked, because fielding, everyone talks about, hey, Jonty, you were the best fielder in the world. And I said, well, it's easy to be the number one fielder when there's only one fielder. Nobody else was even fielding. I think it was a shock. It was just a shock to the cricketing system. What is this kid doing?
Never been done that.
Well, I never did it again. So it's not something I ever practiced. I never did that again. It just seemed right at the time. And that's the strangest thing. I've never practiced it. And it just instinctively felt like the right thing to do. Seriously, I mean, I've replayed it occasionally for camera, and now even at the tender age of 54, going on 55, and the flying part's still okay. It's the landing.
You need 3 days to recover from the landing.
Luckily, we've got 7 coaches and 15 physiotherapists here. So I think most of the coaches, the physios are for the coaching staff.
Well, Jonty, listen, man.
Very badly.
I've got the audio from that. I want to relive it with you. So, for those that are wondering what these two old men are going on about, it's 32 years ago now. A moment that changed a lot of us's vision and perspective of what this white sport was at the time. Growing up in the townships, we didn't know any better. But it just made it something so sexy, something that we wanted to do. It made it something that we want to get involved in. This is that moment. 32 years ago, almost to the dot, because it was in March, Jonty Rhodes making history.
Umpire not interested. Inzamam could be run out. And Jonty Rhodes has demolished the stumps. And umpire Bucknor has given him out. The flying leap with Pike.
Well, it was going to require some brilliant fielding or some brilliant work in the field, and a better man you could not find than Jonty Rhodes. Inzamam was hit on the pads. He was looking for the single and lumbered down the wicket. Imran was never interested. Jonty Rhodes knew there was a chance, decided not to throw other than himself. He gets there first and wipes everything out. Umpire Steve Buckner, no hesitation, and that may well be the piece of fielding that South Africa needed.
That might as well be the piece of fielding and the man, of course, that we needed. Absolutely brilliant, Jonty. I mean, he was in shock of awe. He says he decided not to throw the ball, but throw himself. Oh. Well, let me tell you this. As we're going on now, Mlule Gintsabo, who is former SABC, now with the opposition at SuperSport, is a man that's been involved in cricket for so long. He is a commentator in cricket in South Africa, and one of the best that we have. Sends me a message and says, Andile, I can't believe it. That man with that run out is the reason why I started playing cricket in the first place.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Andile, it's amazing, man. And the crazy thing is, I really had no idea what that would do. And it was just amazing the doors that it opened to make a difference in. Because I was 23, so maybe ignorance is bliss at times. I was still studying at university. I had no idea how it was going to change my existence. But just the people that I came in contact with, throughout wherever I went, it was just amazing.
So when did you realize, Jonty? When did you realize that this moment, it's going to outlive me even?
Well, interesting. Only coming back to South Africa, we had, even though we lost in the semi-final to England, the rain came down and we lost literally 10 minutes worth of play, which was needing 23 runs of 13 balls, and then we lost 10 minutes of play, then needing 22 of one ball. So the semi-final, we lost that against England, and we came back to South Africa, and we received an absolute hero's welcome. And there were signs of Jonty marry me, and Jonty, where did you go? It became a thing. It was like I remember Barbara Marsberg. I went back to PMB. I was studying at university. I finished my university. And with Barbara saying, Jonty, man, you've given us such a hard time. Everyone wants a Jonty Rhodes haircut. What is that thing you've got on your head? So I had no idea until I got back to South Africa. Because interestingly enough, the interview was with the media in Australia. Guys asking me about, you must be a rugby player. You must be a scrum half with that dive. I said, no, I've got epilepsy. I've never played rugby. I just assumed I was a rugby player. So it was interesting getting back to South Africa and understanding the impact. But as I've said, it was just the right time for the country, for people to sort of take notice of what was going on. Because it was I'd never had a passport, I'd never left South Africa before. There was a massive political upheaval happening in South Africa. And it was just an occasion where, I suppose for the first time, people in South Africa went, hey, hold on, we can get together and support something. And it's been incredible. I've obviously watched a few successful rugby World Cup campaigns. And it's the power of sport. We obviously as cricket players had a small taste back there in 1992, and just seeing how rugby has taken that and football, how it does impact people's lives, and even if it's just for the duration of that World Cup or that tournament, it's amazing, as South Africans, that it can touch so many people and make such a massive difference. So for me, the moment, as I said, was not something I ever thought of and never did again. And it was just like the stars aligned for me to be in the right place at the right time, doing probably the wrong thing, but it worked out.
Well, it did work out. But I wonder, Jonty, because you speak of the time, 92 all the way till possibly just before April of 94, was that certain time of uncertainty for many. You are a white boy at the time, because you're 23 years old. You're a young man. Growing up in South Africa, you know what I mean? Yeah, you'd only known life a certain way. Your whole life, 23 years of existence, had been lived in one way, where there was segregation, there was no inclusion. Here's your moment now in 92 that gets black people saying, we also want to play this game. In the Eastern Cape in particular, people are saying Jonty Rhodes, people who can hardly speak the language are speaking about Jonty Rhodes in the KZN. They want to be a part of this. They're infiltrating cricket now. You've brought it to them. They're playing cricket. And whether you take this or not, hear it from me. You're a big part of why there was such an influx of us wanting to play cricket. It was a lot of it had to do with you. There it is now. They're coming in to play a game that you've only ever played with your white peers. How was that transition?
Well, Adila, I think that the toughest and the hardest thing, or the saddest thing for me, I suppose, is if I look back at sport now in South Africa and I look at representation in sport. I was still playing in a white-only team up until 1999. I mean, we played against the
Jeez.
in a test series. And we beat them 5-0. I mean, we probably had the best team in the world at the time. We were ranked #1 in the world between 96 and 1999. So for without winning World Cups, we were still the #1 ranked team in the world. And we were still playing as a white. We were 11 white guys playing against the West Indies. So I look back on my career with real mixed emotions because as I'm hearing from you about the influence that I had or the impact that I had, I mean it is incredible because obviously a lot of my time is spent coaching in India and I see a lot of the sort of 35 to 45 that do corporate sort of leadership talks here around cricket lessons, and it's people who they were 16 or 17 and they were watching me as young people. And in India, where there's obviously no fielding whatsoever because there is no grass at all, the facilities are very tough. But if I go back to the South African context, so many people. I mean, I grew up in such white privilege. It's ridiculous that I look back. So I have real mixed emotions looking back on my cricketing career in that the opportunity that I got. But the players and I'm not just talking about white players, I'm talking about players of every color and culture and race who missed out before me. So you'll hear and being in the media, you'll often hear interviews from players say, it's a real privilege to play for my country. I'm just grateful I managed to score some runs and help the team do well. And if you close your eyes, it could be any player from any team from any country. But I played in a team that was not supposed to play cricket for South Africa. We weren't a democracy. There was no other sport playing internationally in 1992. I mean, it was just, I can't describe what that feels like because it just should never have happened. So, as I said, everything aligned for me to be there, and it wasn't something that I'd planned. And if I can make somebody's day better by just 1%, then I kind of feel like I've done justice for the career that I was blessed with.
Oh, Jonty.
We all talk about how much needs to be done, and I see so many amazing people doing incredible stuff in Dila, and it sometimes puts me to shame where I feel like I have a platform, I have opportunity, but I don't do enough because a lot of us talk about making a difference, but there are actually people out there who are making people who will allow me to kind of give back in a meaningful way. Because I think I have given back in a way to the game, but to actually touch people's lives and make a real difference is. And at 55, approaching 55, this old dog, he's certainly happy to learn new So I'm all for just being able to continue this incredible purpose that I have been given, and hopefully keep touching lives along the way.
I appreciate your honesty when it comes to this, Jonty. Many wouldn't have recognized the privilege that they had, but also I think you need to take it on your cap ready to say, yes, there was privilege, but you earned it too. You were brilliant at what you did, which brings me to the next thing. I picked that one moment because it was, it was my moment that opened my eyes to this beautiful thing called cricket. But when you think back to some incredible moments of your cricket career that you've had, what sticks out? If you're playing your reel to yourself, what's that moment that you leave till the end of the reel for everybody to go, oh, wow, and go out with a huge applause? What's that one moment in cricket on the field that stands out for you?
Yeah, I suppose, my job, I certainly impressed people within my fielding, but my job was supposed to be a batter.
This is true.
Which people tend to forget. Oh, you saved 20, you scored 20, so you average 40, you're fine. But you'll be that's also very correct. So I suppose on the very few occasions that I managed to do that and tick that box, it was very special. And I kind of go back to not just a test match in Lords. We were playing in England in 1998, and for a long time, Lords is obviously considered the sort of the home of cricket. But if you play in India, they consider sort of Eden Gardens with 100,000 people to be the home of cricket. And if you go to Australia, probably the MCG will have 100,000 people. They consider that to be the home of cricket. But South Africa, we on that series, I had been left out of Test cricket for 2 years. So I was playing, but I had a technical flaw, which Bob Woolmer, the coach at the time of South Africa, he was trying to correct, but because cricket's a game of habit, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes weeks and months to rectify and then just become another habit, So it took me 2 years to get back in the Test team, and that 2 years coincided with a tour of England where I was in doubt of even playing. The first Test match I got 95, and the second Test match I managed to get 100 at Lords when we were 40 for 4. I mean, I was dropped, caught on a no ball, and should have been out probably LBW on 2 occasions. So it was luck going my way, but there's an honours board in the dressing rooms in Lords. For a visiting team, if you bowl, you take 5 wickets, you get on the honours board, and you score 100, you go in the dressing room. So at the end of the day, I got my 100. I asked the physiotherapist for some sticky tape or some white tape, muscle tape, and I wrote on there Jonty Rhodes, batsman, not fielder. It had been a long time since I'd scored 100, so there's quite a, from my perspective as a batter, getting 100 is obviously not justification for it.
It wasn't just 100, it was a winning 100, wasn't it? Out at Lords in 98.
Yeah, it was a winning. I mean, the team won, which it did help, but it was also a case of after 2 years where my teammates still kept phoning me and saying, well done. I was playing for the Dolphins, for Natal, and KZN. I was scoring hundreds for them, and not playing for South Africa. Teammates were still phoning me up and saying, hey Joe, keep going. Looking forward to seeing you back in the team. Just keep scoring runs. Just make it impossible for them to leave you out. So it was an interesting 2 periods of my life, because it definitely wasn't all roses when it came to my cricket. And that season, that tour to England in '98 was a huge.
Was it 117 that knock, or was it 120? It was 117, yeah?
Well, yeah, I think about 117. I think that's correct. I mean, it wasn't a big 100. I mean, the ball was still. I really had. I mean, I was dropped. We were 40 for 4. I think when I came to bat with Hansi, and ball was going, and he just said, "Okay, Joe, we're not going to stick. We can't stick around. We're going to get an unplayable delivery. We sort of need to counter-attack here." And he and I both went on the aggressive side and took a bit of risk, and it paid off in the end.
Oh.
So yes, so having my name on the board after being left out of the team
for 2 years
was satisfying. I mean, you obviously, as a cricket player, you focus more on the process than the outcome, because especially when you're batting or when you're bowling even, you can bowl the perfect delivery, the batter gets an inside edge and it goes for 4, and you've done everything right, but the outcome is not in your favor. So So batting is the same. You get one opportunity, and if you get out, no matter how hard you've worked, all the preparation you've done, it just comes to nothing. On many occasions. So I think from that point of view, it was just a case of, okay, so all the hard work that I've been doing for the last
has paid off.
Going back and playing for, and coaches like Graham Ford, really instrumental, because he was coaching the Dolphins at the time, did a lot of work with me. So all that sort of stuff behind the scenes was just gratifying.
Now the Brady says that guy was a cat in human form, except that run out. There's a catch where he twisted and turned in the air. Unbelievable. Pat says, Intangam Leo, having grown up in the Eastern Cape, Mtanzane, I was exposed to the sport, bowling and fielding. I fully understood why he flew for the run out. I too wasn't accurate at throwing. One had to be fit batting with him. Listen, Jonty, before I let you go, because the hour really does go by quick. You've got a young man now, Kwena Mapaka, who is out there, 17 years old, St. Stithian's boy. He impressed at the Under-19 World Cup, got his call up to the Mumbai Indians. It was one of those moments where we all thought so surreal. He's out there, didn't have the best of the first day. I hated what, some South Africans, and I don't want you obviously to go into what Dale Steyn had to say about that, but you are there, you are seeing the 17-year-old, you are seeing this young man from South Africa bowling, a sport that 32 years ago that we speak of, he wouldn't even had a cricket ball in his hand. What are your thoughts in and around Kwena?
Well, it's incredible. Andila, I mean, the amazing thing is that you kind of almost got to go back and start making comparisons, because that's what records are always for. You compare people, and it's difficult you don't label someone as the next whatever. But if you go back to KG, I mean, Rabada's Under-19 World Cup.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
That was my first commentary stint. I was working with Danny Morrison, who was in Dubai, the Under-19 World Cup. Nicky Purin was playing Hetmeyer, and KG just bombed the heck out of all the young batters there. And we as sort of commentators just said, wow, this kid's got real raw pace, but can he step it up to the next level? And KG was 19 at the time, I think, or just 18, and then only 4 years later did KG make his debut at the IPL when he was 22 years old. Bumrah, I mean, I just think, Kwena, what he's got in his corner, he is really fortunate, because he's bowling the toughest overs in the IPL. All of us coaches, all the teams want preferably a left arm pace bowler who swings the ball, because if you swing the ball back, Trent Bolt certainly showed it in that particular, the last when Kwena got his first wicket, I think he got Jaiswal out caught in the covers, because he swings the ball, and it's something that you, as a coaching staff, you want to see. You don't want just someone who's gun barrel straight, whether they're left arm or right arm fast, because T20 cricket, in the power play especially, this youngster is 17 years old. I mean, put things in perspective, the IPL is the best league in the world. And he's the second youngest player to make his debut. And there's like second youngest by 1 day.
Wow, incredible.
He has this youngster who's now bowling to the best players in the world in the toughest period, the first 6 overs of the power play. So, the fact that he's actually given the ball just goes to show you what people think of him already. And that's important, because he's got Lassit Malinga, he's got Bumrah to bowl with.
Jeez.
He's got Bouchy there in his corner. So he's got a South African coach. He's got 2 players that, in Revis and Kutsi, guys who can fall back to, because it's going to be tough. I mean, let's face it, when you burst onto the scene with this kind of reputation already as a 17-year-old, but doing the difficult job. Bumrah only played, I think, 2 matches. I was at Mumbai Indians, 2013. Bumrah made his debut, and he got Kohli out in the first over, but the irony is that the first 3 balls, I think, went for 4, and then Kohli was caught on the boundary. Like the fourth, he could have had, Bumrah's first over could have gone for 20, and he wouldn't have bowled again. And he wouldn't have bowled again that season. He only played 2 matches, and look at the guy now. And I think the IPL is such an incredible learning experience that Kwena, no matter what the results are on the field, he is going to come back such a stronger player, mentally and physically and skill-wise, having spent 2 months in the hottest cauldron of opening bowling that you can ever, experience.
Ever. True.
Boomer in his corner, because you can, there's only so much you can learn in the nets and the practice. It's in the games where you learn the most valuable lessons. So whatever those lessons are, it was great to see him get that first wicket. I mean, it really was amazing, because it is a massive step up. This is the best league in the world. These are the best players in world cricket. They all want to play here, because yes, they're earning big cash. They want to be in this league, and they know there's a massive auction coming up next year for the IPL, a mega auction, and players want to perform here. So, if he doesn't go and play every single game for MI this season, that's not a loss for him. It's the fact that he's spending time with some of the best players in the world, in the nets, in the games, just listening to what's going on. I think he's certainly, looking at his record at the Under-19 World Cup, and he got 21 wickets, which he didn't even get to the final. They lost in the semi-finals where he got 3 for 32. He did an amazing job for MSA.
Just hold that thought for me, Jonty. Sorry to come in the middle of that. Just hold that thought. I want to take a quick break.
Just one bite, and you know you're right. Mama, it's a winner on bread, the best on curry we make. In Nandi, the hamburg company. Irami salad rice, like gold on the slice. Ian Zagu banana, the hamburg company. Rama.
A massive share of 3 million rand is up for grabs in the Hollywood Bets Spinner Zonke Jackpot Race. Bet for 2 rand or more from 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday night. Hollywood Bets, take a spin with us. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Why choose Cash Build? We have a wide range of building materials, paint, tiles, ladders, wheelbarrows, electrical tools, hand tools, lighting, plumbing, and much more. Enjoy free local delivery when you shop at Cash Build. Cash Build, quality building materials, tools, paint, and hardware at the lowest prices.
Turn your Hollywood Bets gaming experience into a spectacular casino royal adventure. Bet up to 100 rand or more on selected Hollywood Bets, plated slots and live tables. And you could win one of 3 luxury trips for 2 to Las Vegas. Hollywood Bets, feel the magic. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Hashtag Throwback Thursday on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Powered by SABC Sport.
It's exactly 18:54 in the mighty Metro FM. The legendary Jonty Rhodes joining us from a conversation all the way from India, where he is busy doing his duties, of course, as a coach nowadays. We're having a conversation about 32 years ago and talking about the moment that the world still speaks of till today. I mean, once it's infiltrated the USA, you knew it was going to go far. Jonty, before I let you go, I have to do this because I know who my GOAT is, but I wonder, dead or alive, South African cricket players of all time, who is Jonty's greatest of all time?
And you've now thrown me right in the deep end.
There's got to be that one that sticks out above others. If Michael Jordan is to basketball, Serena Williams to tennis, Tiger to golf, who is the greatest of all time, minus yourself, of course, cricket players in South Africa, according to Jonty Rhodes? Oh no, Jonty, I don't believe we're going to clash on this. It's got to be Cristiano Ronaldo. It don't have to be stats. I mean, I say sport is a feeling thing.
A bowling all-rounder who then bats a little bit,
Wow.
As I said, if you're either a bowler who batted a bit or you're a batter who bowls a bit, but this young guy who came through, and when he came through with failures in South Africa at the start of his career, he was averaging 8 or 9 runs, and he just blossomed into this incredibly talented player who just kept scoring runs, taking wickets, taking catches, and from my point of view, listening to people in this era now who I work with as coaches, and they just say he's not callous as well. Just,
I've heard it from ex-players I've spoken to as well. So he does come as one of the most recommended. So there you go, Jacques Kallis, the greatest of all time as far as Jonty is concerned. Jonty, I want to give one or two people an opportunity just to be a part of our conversation. I don't want to just have it all to myself. An hour just never enough when you have a person of your caliber. You taking our call all the way from where you are, we really appreciate it. Max in Cape Town, welcome.
Andile, you have a legend there. I can tell you, I never met Jonty myself, but growing up in Hammersklaw, I was actually called by his name. It was introduced to us cricket by a guy who was coming from Eastland. He gave me the name Jonty Rhodes. He used to call himself Lion Fleurs. So I never met him actually, but when Google was introduced to us, I used to just to check how he looks like, but I thought.
So you played cricket. You were called Jonty Rhodes by a coach, and you'd never even seen the guy.
I've never seen the guy. Even when I go back home in Hammersklaw, people will call me Jonty. They think my name is John.
Jonty, are you hearing this?
What?
He had never even seen you. He had to wait till there was Google one day, then he could Google this Jonty. That is crazy. Max, that's a beautiful story. Really appreciate that one, Max. It's a really beautiful story. Jonty, thank you so much for being a part of the show. There's so many calls, so many texts, so many voice notes that are coming in. We just wanted to do this so, you don't think that South Africans don't remember. We know who you've been. If one day we go back, I always say that liberation in this country was not won by just the politicians. There are people in sporting fields that did more than they think they knew. The Jonty Rhodes, the Zola Buds, and many more played a pivotal role in making us who we are. The Chester Williams, Francois Pienaars, and when you mention those names, your name is there with them as one of the people that helped in the liberation of South Africa, but also that made sure that we don't forget that we too could be great. I appreciate you and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you again. I'm so grateful. Thanks a lot for your time.
Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Jonty Rhodes. Yeah, I wasn't going to let, I wasn't going to let what happened yesterday dampen an interview such as that one there. We just had to have it. We just had to have it. Tomorrow is a Friday. I've got coaches that want to pass their regards. I've got so much that needs to happen as far as the Fleurs matter is concerned, and we will get into it. Faith.
Hi.
Takes over between now and 9 o'clock. Are you well?
Hello, I'm very well, thanks. And you, how are you?
I'm not okay.
Oh, why? What's wrong? You look dressed in a tracksuit. Actually, you dressed in a tracksuit like you wearing the same tracksuit that I wore. It's just in a different color.
Yep. I'm not okay because I worry about my 4 children.
Why?
When you have a 24-year-old gunned down for a vehicle.
The hijacking.
24 years old, gunned down for a vehicle. If you've got a gun already, you've got one up on me. Take it if you should. I mean, that's why we pay the insurance we do. But we are so soulless. We are so brazen and nonchalant when it comes to human life in this country that you will murder in cold blood a 24-year-old for a vehicle.
I don't even have anything smart to say to that. It's you are well within your rights to be afraid for your children, because this level of violence, it can never be tolerated, but it's happening every single day. You know?
And the conversation around South Africa now is you juxtapose that to what we saw in Polokwane and what we see in KZN, where the police are saying, guys, these are thugs, they're shooting at us. So yes, we're killing them in numbers because, they're firing against us. And the question is, why are we celebrating deaths of other humans? Can't police apprehend these people without having to shoot them? It becomes a big conversation now to say, what violent society, Mexico, gangland do we now live in?
It's true. I mean, we've even had conversations of this nature on the show, speaking about, on one side, we say that police officers need to be equipped enough and empowered enough so that they're able to make their arrests and also be able to shoot if there is imminent danger or if there's demonstrable danger, right? And on the other hand, also as well, we're trying to say, be responsible in how you also enforce the law. But do criminals have the same regulations that we are imposing on law enforcement? Because criminals do not operate within our framework of regulations and legislations. So, and that is a big problem, is that we are wanting the police to be responsible. And please, I'm not excusing the police. But on the other hand, do criminals behave under an umbrella of responsibility? No, they don't. They take what they want and then that's it. So it's a very difficult space. But I think the biggest one is watching potential gone.
Just like
gone.
that.
Just like that, over something so trivial. A car. A car that can be replaced. A car.
Faith,
so, yeah.
What do you have coming up?
Look, it's going to be a heavy show as well this evening. Well, I think more informative than heavy. I think many of you have seen this evening that the former National Assembly Speaker early in the morning, Nosiwe Mapisa Nqakula, appeared in the court to face a slew of corruption charges, including allegations of receiving millions in bribes. And of course, that was when she was Defense Minister. We're going to be looking at it with the African National Congress, UDM, as well as some analysts as well, some professors this evening. And whether or not you saw a snake, that is not going to be a conversation that is a part of it.
It's a snake.
It is a snake, though.
No, it's a snake.
It is one.
No. It's a
I also saw it,
snake.
but I also saw it, though. Did you see it move?
It went like you saw the head. No, it's a snake.
Did you see the head pick
No,
up?
I saw the head
Me too.
pick up.
And then did you see the tail? I saw the tail. Did you see it?
I don't think
I saw it.
I think I put
saw
my
it.
phone down and said, yay.
No, I saw it.
No, it's a
and
snake.
then I rewind. And then I rewind again.
I actually
and then
thought she was in
again.
Cape Town because I was like, okay, it would make sense, but she's here in
But
Joburg.
it was a snake, no?
Where's she, in Pretoria?
She wasn't, but it was a snake.
No,
right?
it's a snake.
It's a snake, no?
No, guys,
I
there's no
saw it.
conversation
No,
here. It's a
fine.
snake, that thing.
I just know the thing.
How do you
is
see a bird?
It was a snake.
It's a
I saw
snake, that thing.
Okay, I'm glad
Okay.
that we passed that. Now, we're also going to be looking at Equal Education, who are demanding that the Limpopo Department of Education meet their own deadlines to replace dangerous pit toilets. It's so sad that once again we have to bring up this issue around pit toilets. After 8, we're going to be unpacking something that I actually have never gone into with much depth.
Okay.
And this evening we're going to be doing so. Andila, what is the state of our juvenile correctional services facilities?
I'd even forgotten that we have
juvenile correctional services facilities.
I think it's one of the saddest words or combination of words in history, juvenile detention. Because that is basically, in crude, draconian terms, prison pit for young people.
Right.
That's what it is.
But what is our state?
I have no idea if the state of senior prisons are what it is. I can
only
imagine.
What is the state of juvenile correctional services facilities? Where do you send, when we send kids and they get arrested and they get charged for murder, rape, whatever it is? What is that state?
Somebody show me.
That's what we're looking at this evening. The state of our juvenile facilities. I
Let's
actually
take the
thought
lid off that
about it.
pot.
And I said, I've never really asked the question around those facilities. I've never actually asked. And you know what we're speaking to as well today? We're speaking to former convicts ex-convicts who've just served their time who went to juvenile facilities.
Oh, I'm all ears. I'm all for it. It's 5 after the hour, 7 in the Mighty Metro FM. If you heard our conversation with Panyaza Lisufi, by the way, I'm still it's gazetted, but it's not out yet. So we're still paying e-tolls up until, it was that whole thing. She's great. She's absolutely amazing. And she's with you till 9 o'clock. For myself and my entire team, on a very somber note, look, Fleurs, on le para.
For today's chart toppers,
Good, but we still good.
we've got your urban fix covered 24/7. Metro FM is where you want to be. Where I want to be.
It's about damn time.
It's the place to be.
How we feeling? Turn up the music.
At the convergence of the melody and rhythm and the voice and the people who can hear it, love it. dance to it and rejoice. Where the beat is the message and the message upbeat. Where ignorance is erased and information sets the pace. Where ambition is the mission, the destination, inspiration. And the fuel in the tank is pure unleaded perspiration. Because this is where we meet, on the corner of here we are and where we want to be.